All right, so we are here for the Coaching Excellence podcast with Coach DuWayne Campbell. Today I'll be interviewing Coach Gianluca Alberani. I got that right?
Yeah, very awesome. Good.
He is the head coach and CEO of Azura Aquatics based in Davie, Florida. Coach Alberani, tell us a little bit about how you got into coaching and your journey as a coach?
Hi, Coach Campbell, and thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure. Basically, I've been swimming. I'm a swim coach, and I've been swimming all my life since the age of probably 5 or even 3. And the water and swimming has always been my passion as an athlete. I believe I had a decent career. I never represented. I'm originally from Italy. I never represented Italy internationally, but I won few medals at the Italian junior national level. Did few finals at the Italian Open national levels, and then I think that my decision to continue, let's say, from the water to outside of the water was more to pass my passion, my knowledge, and my motivation to, at the beginning, of course, younger kids, and then with the times, more professional and adult and world level athletes. But basically it was like a continuation and a giving back to the sport I loved, giving back to the sport that gave me a lot through my whole career, and sharing as much as possible to the athletes and the coaches I work with to take out the best out of everyone. So basically that's what was my decision. Like it was a natural transition from athlete to teaching at the beginning, strokes, etc. And then I saw that coaching actually was more what passionated me, and seeing the developing of the athletes I've been able to work with the past probably 15, 16 years has been tremendously fantastic. So that's basically what it was. I started my young career as a coach in Italy, in my hometown, like close to my hometown, then in Rome, and then in Bologna. Like those were my main bigger city in Italy. Then I had an experience back in 2004 here in Florida as an athlete, and that gave me even more confident that I wanted to continue in the aquatic world. I came for a few summers to be part of a summer camp here in South Florida, also swimming and teaching and volunteering coaching with very expert coaches. And I decided that this was my life. Then I moved here in 2009. So it's already almost 13 years. Now next month will be 13 years. And I believe I can say, from a passion, I made a living. I made a very impact, I believe, with a lot of athletes, a lot of coaches. That's what, when they ask me what swimming gave you the most, I always say knowing and meeting so many people all over the world, and being able to listen to stories and sharing my story with other people, and getting inspired from all the stories that I've been able to see with my eyes, and helping. I like always to say that, I like to make the impossible possible during my, not too long, but not too short career, because now I opened Azura 9 years ago. So I believe we're getting close to the 10-year flag. In these 9 years, we qualified 14 swimmers to the Olympics. We made a semi-finalist at the Olympics. We got a medal at the Youth Olympics level. We made a semi-finalist at the Open World Championship. We sent probably over 70, 75 swimmers to college, one of the top colleges, American University here in the whole country. We hosted 85 countries, which I think is fantastic. There are 209 federations in the world. 85 of them passed through our center. So, even you don't realize, and sometimes we tend to be humble and maybe not consider our achievement as they should have been considered. But like just talking to you, and thanks for the opportunity, you can see that has been a lot, like 85 countries, it's a lot. And then again, 14 Olympians, semifinalists, and again, all call it developing countries, which I don't like that much because it's more like a mental thing that developing, because when we are athletes, we are the same at the end. Yes, we might come from countries which have a little bit less resources, financial and structural wise, but at the end of the day, we have two arms, we have two legs, we have a chest like everybody else. It's not that some countries are more important than others. So again, call it developing, because that's the way they call it. But like, I'm proud enough to say that we make the impossible possible, because all these results that I told you came from countries like El Salvador, Honduras, Puerto Rico, Haiti, the same Jamaica, so it's some countries that maybe they are more famous for other discipline, for other sports, or for other news, unfortunately. But I think we like in Azura to give hope and show that actually it's possible, not just word, but actually it's possible. Just need to believe, just need to, one of my philosophy and my actually the whole coaching staff in Azura now, even the parents and the athletes are believing in this, is I strongly believe that it doesn't exist the right or the wrong program. It doesn't exist the right or the wrong methodologies. It doesn't exist the right or the wrong way of training. Of course, there are some common senses. You go and you hit 20 hamburgers before a race, or you go out at night and party the night before. I mean, that's common sense. But in reality, again, I believe that you just need to trust in what you do, but not just you as the head. Like, you need to make as much as possible the whole group, the whole team, from the parents to the coaches, to the dirigents, to the athletes, of course, believe in what we do. And I know that nowadays there's a lot of, thanks to the technology, there's a lot of exposure to so many videos and podcasts and books, etc., which is easier to always tend to look what the others are doing. I think doing so is not wrong, but you might kind of delay the process of your success, because instead of just continue with your path and continue with consistency, which is another very important key point, and believing in what you do, then swimming is 4 strokes, 7 speeds, 3-4 technical aspects everywhere in the world. The way you put it together makes a difference. Yes, it is, but I think again, the way you believe in what you do and you have the least doubts or no doubts at all will make you successful. So as coaches, I think that's one of our goals and mission is that one, to pass along to our parents and our athletes the fact that they just need to trust the process. They just need to trust what they're doing. If there's something that is questionable, of course, with the communication, just share it. Hey, coach, I would like to know for what reason we did this. I'm not criticizing. I'm just curious to understand. And then again, the coach needs to be mature enough to just explain and say, trust the process. That's what we're doing. It's been working. We have been doing already for many years. So other people might do different, yes. But again, it's not that they do better, we do worse, or we do better, they do worse. No, they do what they believe is going to make them better athletes and better swimmers and better coaches. We do the same. So I think that's one of my main way of doing coaching. And I'm proud because I see that within the years has been successful. So, we work a lot with people. We work a lot with listening to people. We work a lot with tailoring. I don't know if the word pass, like tailoring the necessity to each different athlete, each different coach, each different parent. And that's why I continue repeating these 3, because I really believe into this triangle: athlete on the top, coaches and parents on the bottom of the triangle, but the dots needs to be connected, because that's the only way how the athlete at the end of the day will be successful. So parents are a very important part of our process, very important part of our preparation. We need to have parents not just trust and just say yes, okay, yes, I pay the fee. That's no, involving them, making them part of the process, making them understand what their role is, but at the same time, trusting what we do will also help their own kids to have what we call technically a fresher mind and a less busy mind, which will help avoiding any type of anxiety, any type of nervousness, any type of, to keep them enjoy what they do, and then we know that the enjoyment is one of the key of the results of the performance at any level, not just sport. It can be work-wise, can be relationship-wise, can be, in any type of performance. When the levels of enjoyment and calm, but we're going to talk about calm later, but enjoyment is high, the performance will tend to be higher. And what we need to be able to avoid or limit it as much as possible, anything that will compromise this enjoyment, that will lower the level of enjoyment. So that's why I think parents are an important part of the process, So I don't know, that's a little bit of introduction, but we have a lot to talk, but that's basically what it is. Like I've been starting from a small town in Italy of 54,000 people, very small, in close to the main city was Bologna. It's between Florence and Venice. I grew up with a split household. My father, for example, for instance, never came to watch me swimming. For him, swimming was not a sport. It was a very selfish sport, and not educating the young people to actually be able to share with other kids. I respect it. I thank him for somehow giving his best, even without the support. But then at the end, I showed to myself and not to nobody else. I thought that I was doing to show to him, but in reality, I did for myself. In reality, I made swimming a living. Now, I have a beautiful family with a wife that support me a lot. I have 3 kids. My mom now lives here with us in Florida. I help my parents-in-law. So I think swimming in reality became something that, I can proudly say was worth it to do.
Awesome. You touched on a little bit on the process that you went through, transitioning from becoming an athlete to a coach and building up your program. Talk to us a little bit more about goal setting with your athletes in terms of the process orientation or goal orientation for sports preparation. Like, what do you emphasize within your program?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think in everything we do, but especially for athletes, we absolutely having goal settings is very important. Actually, you cannot really go out there and train every day 2, 4, 5 hours without actually having goals. But then at the same time, I would like to share with you that yes, goals needs to be clear. We need to also, as coaches, have our own goals. We need to share our goals with the swimmers. We need to be able to identify each swimmer's goals. And technically, we have short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals. But I would like to add something that I've been working on in the past few years. Yes, goals is what make us moving forward, is what make us keep staying motivating. But then we need to be mature and smart enough, and that's our role, to pass it to the swimmers, to avoid having these goals then becoming something that is called mental fatigue. For instance, translation, I know that I need to qualify to World Championship, or I need to qualify to a regional meet, and the qualification meet is, and the deadline is in a month and a half. Yes, I know that that's my goal. But we need to be able to work together, understanding that if today is whatever day is, and I need to perform in 6 weeks, if I start putting the mental fatigue now, I will arrive in 6 weeks that I'm already exhausted, because mentally I already swam, in this case, my race 60 times. And, you teach me better than, you try to do 100 butterflies 60 times. The 60 times you will be a little bit tired. Try to do a 400 meter run in track and field. The 60 times you're going to be tired. So again, the goal needs to be clear. Absolutely, yes. It's not just improvisation. It's not just, oh, wherever we go to swim and then we will see what's happening. But at the same time, I think we are working very hard in the past few years and has been working very well. And we had a lot of feedbacks from athletes and even from results. Again, to avoid then these goals becoming a mental fatigue. You know, like, so enjoy. That's why I think goals are important, but the process to reach the goals is even more important, because at the end of the day, like life, we will not know the outcome. We can just, actually, we cannot control the outcome of things. We just can control the process. And it's amazing, because swimming and sport is a perfect example of how life is. You know, like, who does not do sport probably does not understand this, but like, all the process we pass through each single day, the preparation, all the process we pass through, all the frustrations, all the failures, all the successes, not just something negative, but like, again, we need to, in my opinion, just enjoy the process day by day, day after. It can happen that one day we didn't have a good practice. Yes, I remember even me when I was an athlete, I was getting angry because I didn't have a good practice. Now I'm teaching our kids, our athletes, that it's totally fine. Same as in life. If one day, hey, today I didn't have a good day. All right, didn't have a good day. I was a little bit cranky. I was a little bit tired. I was a little bit melancholy. That's no problem. You know, like, tomorrow we have another chance. So I think, again, goal settings is very important. We don't do things without having goals, and not necessarily needs to be, again, Olympics. I mean, Olympic is the excellence. You know, there are way important, still very important goals. That is not just Olympics. You know, I always say that at least in swimming, every Olympics recently, let's say 800 athletes each, they go to the Olympics, and the Olympics is every 4 years. So imagine how many swimmers went to the Olympics in the history of Olympics, and people don't, because they don't go to the Olympics, they think, wow, I'm a failure. No, you know, it's a very elite, privileged group that goes to the Olympics, but there are so many other levels of athletes, again. But the goals needs to be there, very firm, very, you know, we need to have the cope on the goal. But then that goal, if at the moment we see that that goal becomes a reason of getting mentally fatigued, because we just think about, yes, I need to do the competition in a month, and I'm not enjoying the moment, I'm not enjoying the process that I'm doing, that we just try to step back and say, okay, I have that goal, but let's maybe do a step back and do a daily goal. Because I noticed that that monthly goal or that yearly goal makes me a little bit, maybe not. There are some athletes that actually work. I'm just saying, like the normal I saw in the past few years is that this mental fatigue make the athletes forgetting to enjoy the single practice, forgetting the moment of going to the locker room and put the suit on and be ready to jump in the pool, forgetting the moment of feeling the fresh water once they jump in the water, you know, like. So that's what I think. There needs to be a balance in between the two. But if goal becomes an obsession, then probably let's step back and do a little bit shorter terms goals and leave more the present. You know, I'm not the first one saying this, and these are not my words. I'm lucky enough to be able to work with the professionals that help me also on my own journey as a person and my own mental training. And I'm confident enough to say that this helped me also in my job to be able to transfer this to the athletes and the coaches and the parents I work with. You know, again, I cannot be their mental coach because, you know, I would say, let's say this way, I cannot be their psychologist. Can be mental coach, yes, but that needs to be a big difference in between psychology and mental coach, because psychology is somebody that study many years as a career, etc. And this mental coach, I believe, and I invite other colleagues, this is something that I really believe, we as coaches, I believe we should go to do our own journey with a therapist if it's something when we feel ready. Because at least in my culture, going to psychology and do therapy means you're crazy. You know, no. In reality, you just go to the mind, the coach of the mind. Then I see that me working together with people. I don't work with computer. Computer is easy. You know, if something doesn't work, you turn off the computer, you look again tomorrow. No, you work with people. So being able to work on myself, on my feelings of what I feel as a coach, as a human first, and then as a coach, I'm able to actually identify and guide the athletes and the other coaches and the parents way more than before doing my own mental therapy, call it this way, you know. So this is something that I encourage. I think we always say athletes need the sport psychology, absolutely yes, but coaches I think we need as well, and even more maybe, because then it's like we are the driver of the car, you know, like we are the driver of the bus, or we are the pilot of the plane. You know, if there is a turbulence, or if there is an emergency, if we are able to control our emotion or to regulate our emotion, then it's easier to actually make the passengers more calm, more relaxed, more accepting what's happening. Imagine what do they, Mr. Campbell, what do they tell you when you take a plane? In case of an emergency, put your oxygen mask first, and then you help others. And that's how it should be. So many times, and I noticed in my career, you know, like many times I was so frustrated or so nervous or so insecure of the performance of our athletes that I was passing that to them. Now I've been working, and in reality, if I'm able to, again, put the oxygen mask first, then I'm able to help the other people put in their oxygen mask. So that's the encouragement and maybe challenge or motivation that I would like to pass to other colleagues. That, you know, again, we are afraid sometimes to do mental journey and mental training, but like if we do for us, our athletes will benefit a lot if there is a possibility to do it, you know. So that's something that I really believe, and I saw huge improvements in all the performances, not just at the athletes level, but you know, even as a CEO, even as a business person, you know, like I'm able to run my business with way more calm and way more relaxation, let's say, if you pass me the word, than before, you know, less anxiety than before.
Okay. Yes, coach. So I got disconnected at just a little bit there, and but you touched on the mental side of preparation, and a little bit towards the coaches' preparation themselves in terms of, you know, you drew on the analogy of putting the oxygen mask over your face first, so that you can then have the capacity to help someone else. And a couple of years ago, I started thinking about along those same lines, and I started to realize that the preparation for the competitive season for athletes was also a preparation for myself as a coach, in terms of, one, learning more about myself as a coach as those general prep and specific preparation phases went through, and also learning about the athlete and how I'm going to be able to instruct them when it comes time for the big competitions. Talk to us a little bit more about the mental side of the preparation for both training and competition. Your philosophy on the mental preparation for your athletes, like what are the things that you emphasize? What are the things that you found give you results in your program?
Yeah, and thank you for sharing. And that's exactly what happened to me. You know, I got to a point that I said, look, I need to go to the next level. I need to train myself first mentally, and then I will be able to train the athletes. Now, there are many points that we can touch here, but I think we already spoke about the mental fatigue. It was something that, you know, I used to have a lot. Not that I don't have anymore, but now I recognize it, and so I'm able to, you know, to avoid it as much as possible. I think a very important key point that I see with the athletes is the being aware, and it's not just athletes, but you know, it's the 3A. That's a basic concept. The famous 3A's: awareness, acceptance, action. And we have this every day as humans, but as athletes even more, is even, you know, bigger. Awareness, somehow being aware of what you're feeling. And in athletes, to be honest with you, when I discover that athletes or coaches, because we probably have even more than the athletes, and then we pass it to the athletes, is that famous frustration. So let's talk about frustration. So let's say we have a result that in reality is not what we expected. Happened to me even in the past, and I was getting mad. I was getting pissed. I was even yelling at athletes, and or didn't sleep, or getting nervous during the following practice or the following cycle, whatever. In reality, again, awareness of what you feel. So you finish a race, yeah, you did okay, but you wanted to do more. And then you start being aware, oh, wow, you know what? In reality, I'm frustrated. Because normally what happens when we are frustrated and we do not realize, when there's not the awareness of being frustrated, we start finding excuses. We start finding reasons why that type of results didn't come. It's like, I don't know if you have it in the Caribbean, but like in Italy, we have this story of the fox and the grape. Basically, the fox goes to this field of grapes and start jumping and try to get this grape, and doesn't reach the grape. And then after the 7th times, just go to the other fox friends and say, you know what? In reality, the grape is rotten. It's, I don't need that grape. So somehow, I don't know if you pass the concept. They say, you don't have a good race. Instead of accepting that instead of being aware and then accepting that you're frustrated, you just say, no, we didn't do the correct training. No, my coach didn't train me well. No, in reality, the transportation to go to the pool, wow, it was very hot, the bus. No, in reality, no, I didn't sleep enough. In reality, it's way more simple than this. When all these excuses on all these, so what should I do next? Should I move to another team? No, should I change coach? Should I, that's just because we are frustrated, but we don't recognize it. So awareness is number one point. And again, it's the ABC of mental training. Be aware of what you feel. In this case, for athletes, frustration is one of our main, athletes and coaches, one of our main feelings. And the second step, which I believe requires even more work, but once we get to that one, that's it. Like you do a big step, is the acceptance of what we feel. So to put it in the concrete aspect, again, I finish a race, I'm frustrated. Okay, nice. I realize I'm frustrated. Yes, I wanted to do more. Didn't go the way I wanted. I'm really frustrated. But then what? I need to accept it. That's it. I can't go back. The event already happened. Actually, if I'm lucky enough, and in swimming we do a lot of races, tomorrow I have another event. So if I recognize and I accept that I'm frustrated, let's say tomorrow I prepare myself for this. I know how to do this. It didn't go the way I want. Okay, didn't go the way I want. Let's accept it. I'm very pissed. I'm frustrated. Yes. And then there's the third, which is action, that many times is this one, moving on, self-regulating ourselves in a way that, again, usually they teach us as kids, to self-control, to control yourself. No, control requires an effort. Everything that is a controlling means effort, and effort means fatigue. So the technical word is self-regulation, which is just a mental technique. You just need to self-regulate yourself. Okay, I'm frustrated, really frustrated. All right, then I accept it and I regulate myself to try to go back to the state of calm. An example is Federer, the tennis player from Switzerland. He's one of the ambassadors of acceptance of frustration. Imagine tennis player every 20 seconds, maybe 40, maybe a minute, they need to do another point. They need to do another serve. So he was mentioning, when I was younger, I was getting very frustrated. I was throwing the racket, and then I was losing sets and I was losing games. Then I worked with my psychologist, and we realized that I was just frustrated and I was not accepting. So right now, yes, I accept frustration and I go back to calm quicker. And this is something that I want to share with you, which really I think we are coaches, it really makes a big impact, and we understand better. The mental training is very similar to the physical training. So we know that in track and field, in swimming, in cycling, our number one friend or enemy, call it the way you want, is the lactate production. So when we train athletes, we do not train them to avoid the production of lactate. So we do not train them to avoid them to getting tired. No, we train them to actually get tired, produce lactate, produce these toxins in the muscles, But the goal is with the training to recover quicker, to lower the level of the lactate, so the level of the fatigue quicker. Mental training is exactly the same. It's not that when I do mental training, I will not be frustrated anymore. No, the mental training is to lower and to actually make it quicker from being frustrated, be aware of being frustrated, accepting, and self-regulate to be back to calm or moving on, etc. So again, we do not need to expect our athletes to not getting pissed or not getting nervous, not getting anxious anymore. No, it's just to actually recover, mentally recover from that feeling quicker, to go back to calm, to go back. Okay, and I can give you an example, which is always important to not just talking abstract, but do practical example. Was a competition when was November of last year, 2021, was the Junior Pan American Games in Colombia, Cali, Colombia, Junior Pan American Games. So the Pan American Games for the 18 and under, actually 23 and under. And this girl from Uruguay, fantastic athlete, she did so many good results. Now she's in college with one of our biggest success. She's in with a full scholarship in a big university here in Florida. And you know, she went first day, best time, but finished fourth. Okay, finished fourth. All right. Second day, best time in another race, but fourth, fourth again. Wow. And then I promise you, we started as coaches in between us, what I was telling you before, finding excuses. No, but in reality, this competition was not very important. No, but in reality, we didn't prepare her. No. We were just not understanding that we first were frustrated and we were not accepting to be frustrated. Then the day in couple days, in few days, you know, she had a day off, then I'm honest with you, I had a nice session with my therapist and we spoke about this and he opened me a big window about this acceptance of frustration. So basically he just told me, hey, you're frustrated and you're not accepted, you're not recognizing and above all, you're not accepted. Then I was able to pass it to her in an audio. I was not in Colombia, but we were communicating with WhatsApp audio messages. And in the first few days, I was passing the wrong messages. Again, finding excuses to our frustration. Then I just nicely, calmly just told her, you know, I'm honest with you, I'm frustrated. Yes. And probably you are too. You know, doing best time, but finishing fourth in this type of events, you won the medal. You know, like the time somehow and this type of games goes on the second level. So, you know, I'm honest with you. I apologize for the first few days that maybe I passed this frustration to you. And, you know, I just want to share this with you. I realized I was frustrated and I was not accepting. And she said, oh, wow, coach, yes, it's true. Me too. And everything. The following day, call it, you know, I don't want to say this was exactly the reason, but I believe, yes, she won the 200 AM, national record, best time, competition record, gold medal. Again, call it a coincidence, but, you know, it's a true fact, you know, like, so that's why I say that we as coaches have a huge role that we do not realize. It's not just about being able to put together a season, a planning, but we need to be able to not control because it's the wrong word, to understand, recognize and accept our feelings, because then we will be able not to recognize the athlete's feelings, but to help them maybe recognize it. And above all, we pass that calm that the athletes need. Because many times it's like, you know, it's like parent, you're a father too. We go to our kids and they scream at us and then we say, hey, stop screaming. How you say to the kid to stop screaming once you are the first one to scream. So athletes is the same. Hey, let's go, let's go. Today is gonna be a good race, Let's go. Hey, stay calm, You got this, but don't worry about it. Don't get nervous. They feel it right away. But you know, that's why I say we should work on ourselves first, and then we will be able to pass this calm, this secure, this self-confidence and enjoyment to the athlete. So this is a big step. So the mental part, I think, is, we always say, yeah, mental aspect is the key. 70% versus 30. Yes, I was one of them. They always said, I really believe in motivation, a lot of YouTube videos, etc. But now that I do my own journey, I have the tools and I understand more. I can help the athletes more, and as I said, the other coaches too, and the parents too. So it's an amazing achievement, which just started a little more than 2 years ago. So I'm confident to say that bigger results will come because the mental training just started 2 years ago in the correct way.
Okay, Coach, excellent, excellent. I am a little bit curious, and I'm sure our listeners will be a little bit curious because you talked about in your introduction having athletes from a number of different countries. The majority of countries affiliated with swimming have seen at least one athlete pass through your program. And these athletes would have been coming from lots of different backgrounds, lots of different types of training programs before they get to Azura Aquatics. How do you get these athletes to buy into your program, to buy into your actual training methodology when they're coming from all these different backgrounds with preconceived ideas and coaches that they might have had from, you know, the age group swimming level coming all the way up, and then maybe they might come into your program and see something completely different. Talk to us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, actually, things happen without looking for them, and that's, I think, when the biggest result come. Like we said before, if you just look for the goals without focusing on the process, then 9 times out of 10 you fail. So reality came naturally. You know, I mean, I'm lucky enough that in South Florida, of course, we are a big and important reference point for many countries. You know, somehow Miami, South Florida is the port for the Caribbean, the port for Central America, port for South America. So I believe with the years, you know, just with the results, I think that's the good of swimming. There's not a referee, there's not a judge, there's not, you know, somebody that gives you a score, but you just do results. That's the good and the bad, but I see more as a good, because again, you do result, you do result. You can do things that might not be the most common, etc., but you do results. That's it. You need to do a time. You do time, you do time. You win a medal, you win a medal. You know, it's not because your teammate that day was on fire and scored 45 points in basketball, or because you are a diver and maybe the general public did a big noise and the official got a little bit excited by the noise. I'm just saying. So yeah, it came with the years. I mean, I used to work with the program before Azura that was already very international, and I was in charge of their summer camp, which I believe that helped me as well in terms of contacts, to get a lot of contacts. But above all, is the results. You start getting results, then people start getting interested and say, "Wow, how they're improving." So I want to give it a shot, give it a chance, and then they talk to each other, and then they come, and then they see, no, it was not just one. Well, now another one, and from completely different culture is going. So, because I think we do not really give preferences to nobody. We do not really associate ourselves to one country or the other one. We like the diversity, absolutely. Yes, fantastic to see. You come to the pool, you see all the different flags in the swim caps or different languages, etc. To listen to the stories of the athletes is amazing. I really personally think one of our also success is that we like to involve the former coaches to the process, and we see that most of them, they like this. So we always in touch with the coaches from home. We want to avoid as much as possible them to see that we are taking over what they did until then. No, it's just a continuation of the journey, just a continuation of the process. It's not that somebody now is taking advantage of what has been done, or somebody now is showing to be better or worse than what it. No, it's just you're part of it. You know, I just got it before having this call with you. I got a message from one of the kids that are in Peru to do Junior World Championship, who did national record and did great, and the coach, the former coach, fantastic. Like, you know, like still feeling part of the process, part of the team, you know, even if she's not here in Florida, but she knows that she's part of it. It's just that now it's the same as school, you know, like if you do not accept that your kid is not in elementary school and goes to middle school anymore, then the teacher of elementary school get jealous or get angry to the middle school teacher because now she's taking over on the big talent that she built during elementary. No, it's a continuation. So I think that's another key point. We involve the coaches a lot. We talk to them a lot. And of course, we give a lot of clinics around the world. Of course, now since the end of 2018, FINA, the International Swimming Federation, which I'm very grateful with, approached us and decided to trust us and send athletes under their development scholarship program. So of course that is an extra help, but I think also that came as a consequence of enjoying the process, enjoy, you know, like we were not there to look for this opportunity. The opportunity came because of the job and the work we have been doing. So, you know, we, in the summer now, after COVID, we started after 3 years of pause, but we host a very big and international and successful training camps during the summer, which I think is successful because we make the athletes, of course, they come from all over the world, but like we make them train together with our team. So they do not just come to a training camp just to do the fun activities, which we have, you know, we have field trips, etc. But they actually get immersed. They feel like, wow, I'm part of something big, you know. So they train hard. It's not just the social, etc., which is also important. So again, now I'm very proud that lately we are receiving, thanks to FINA, athletes from Africa, which I believe is amazing. You know, like it's. At the moment, this is what is giving me a big emotion, like, you know, to see even, we think that again, Caribbean or Central America are considered swimming developing countries. And then when I saw these realities, it's even more fascinating because actually, you know, the lack of facilities is huge compared to actually our, like, you know, Caribbean compared to their region. It's to some of the region. He has a lot of facilities, but anyway. So again, I enjoy, you know, because then one of our goals, so they come here and we help them finding college, finding university, finding opportunities. So we continue with the journey of sending them to continue their academic and life development. So that's what it is. I think the diversity helps, the fact that even in the coaching staff we have a lot of different culture helps, and of course being here in USA, being in Florida is also a big part of it, because I think USA is a great country for this, you know, accepting all this diversity and giving the opportunity to everyone at the same level. You know, like you need to work. Nobody gives anything for granted. Nobody gives everything for free. Here you need to put the work, but then here, if you put the work and you follow the rules and you pay the bills, there's no limit. The sky's the limit. You know, not that in other cultures it's not possible, but you know, there are some more limitations. But at the end, I think each country needs to believe, and not just because they told us, no, your country will never be successful in swimming. Then, you know, unfortunately, you believe because that's what they told you since you're a kid. That's what we like to do, to show that in reality, there's no difference in between white, black, orange, blue, yellow, tall, short, muscle, skinny. No, you know, if you put passion, you put the work, you have the right people that believe in you, that, you know, make you feel important. Then again, the results are coming. You know, it's a lot of work, but it's possible.
Coach, thank you so much for it. That was a really deep dive into getting our athletes prepared mentally to accept the type of training program and workload and expectations mentally of what's going to happen in training and competition. If we wanted to get in contact with you to maybe, you know, bounce some ideas off you, how would we get in contact with you?
Yeah, first of all, thanks to you for the opportunity. It's always fantastic sharing. Like you said at the beginning, you know, sharing is growing. I think who doesn't want to share, you know, is going to be forgotten, and and you know, people are afraid, me, my secrets. No, in reality, sharing is the key of continuing what you do. We are very strong on social media, so you know, if anybody's interested, just search on Instagram or Facebook, but mostly Instagram, Azura with 1 Z and 1 R, Florida Aquatics. We have a website which is a little bit static. We are working on making it a little bit more dynamic, and then if you message on Instagram directly, I will have access as well. So that could be the best way to get in touch.
Okay, thank you so much, Coach Gianluca Alberani. I'm Coach Campbell. If you want to get in touch with me, I'm also on Instagram, kingleo.876. In fact, anywhere you type in kingleo.876, that is me, including a kingleo876.com. Unlike Coach Gianluca, I coach track and field. And so if you have track and field related stuff, I am more than willing to help anybody from anywhere. And this has been another episode of the Coaching Excellence Podcast. Look out for another episode coming soon. All right, thank you.